Drunk: How We Sipped, Danced, and Stumbled Our Way to Civilization by Edward Slingerland, performed by Tom Parks. People love to drink. As the anthropologist Michael Dietler notes, alcohol is by far the most widely and abundantly consumed psychoactive agent in the world. Current estimates place the number of active consumers at over 2.4 billion people worldwide, or roughly one-third of the Earth's population. And this is not a recent development. Humans have been getting drunk for a really long time. Images of imbibing and partying dominate the early archaeological record as much as they do 21st century Instagram. A 20,000-year-old carving from southwestern France, for instance, shows a woman, possibly a fertility goddess, holding a horn to her mouth. One might imagine that she is using it as a musical instrument, blowing into it to produce sound, except for the fact that the part near her mouth is the wide end. She is drinking something, and it is hard to imagine that it's just water. The earliest direct evidence of alcoholic beverages deliberately being produced by human beings dates from around 7000 BCE in the Yellow River Valley of China, where potsherds from an early Neolithic village were found to contain chemical traces of a sort of wine, probably not very pleasant by modern standards, made from wild grapes and other fruits, rice, and honey. There is evidence in present-day Georgia of grape domestication from circa 7000 to 6000 BCE. Pottery fragments from the same region, depicting human figures throwing their arms in the air in celebration, suggest that these grapes were intended for the cup and not the table. Chemical evidence of grape wines, preserved with pine resin, as is still the case with Greek and other wines, has been found in present-day Iran in ceramics dating back to 5000 to 5500 BCE. And by 4000 BCE, wine production had become a major collective undertaking. A huge cave site in Armenia apparently served as an ancient, full-scale winery, with basins for grape stomping and pressing, fermentation vats, storage jars, and drinking vessels. Neolithic peoples were also creative in terms of what they threw into their booze. In the Orkney Islands in northern Britain, archaeologists have discovered enormous pottery jars dating back to the Neolithic era that appear to have contained alcohol made from oats and barley, with the addition of various flavorings and mild hallucinogens. The human drive to produce alcohol is impressive in its inventiveness as well as its antiquity. Inhabitants of Tasmania would tap a species of gum tree, dig a hole at its base, and allow the accumulated sap to ferment into an alcoholic beverage. The Koori people of what is now Victoria in southeast Australia fermented a mixture of flowers, honey, and gum into an intoxicating liquor. As the existence of ancient hallucinogenic beers suggests, although alcohol has remained the drug of choice among most large world cultures, humans have been wildly promiscuous when it comes to choosing their poison, supplementing alcohol with other intoxicating substances or finding replacements in places without alcohol. Hallucinogens, typically derived from vines, mushrooms, or cacti, are a favorite, and sometimes given a special status above alcohol. The Vedic people of ancient India, for instance, possessed alcohol but were a bit suspicious of it, thinking it produced a morally questionable form of intoxication. First in cultural and religious prestige was the psychological state, mada, produced by the hallucinogenic drug soma. Mada comes from the same root as the English word madness, but in Sanskrit means something more like rapture or bliss, a privileged state of religious ecstasy. Peyote buttons and mescaline-containing beans carbon-dated to 3700 BCE have been found in human cave dwellings in northeast Mexico. Enormous stone carvings with human faces or animals incorporated into images of psilocybin mushrooms and ceramics depicting mescaline cacti atop shamanistic animals like jaguars date back as far as 3000 BCE, suggesting that hallucinogens have long played a central role in religious rituals throughout Central and South America.